Hi there, this is Shauna from the Foil Fox, and I want to thank you so much for joining me today. As promised, I am doing a watercolor Better Press card. This one is a Christmas one. It is called Christmas Greetings, and you can see it has this wonderful cardinal nesting on the branch with a lot of foliage, and then it has its own sentiment. Also, there's a new ink collection. There are several, actually. You'll find them on our website. But this one has the strawberry that I'll be using. And this is one of the original ink collections that has the black. But if you do have a Better Press system and you already have one, you'll know that it already comes with the black. Now I have the base, which is called the Chase, and it's magnetic, and I've positioned these two plates on there. You can see it has the guidelines. I have a piece of A2 bisque 100% cotton paper. This is from Spellbinders, and it's a wonderful paper to use for this. It's preferred, but you can use your colored card base if you want. Now that paper, the good side is going to go down against the plate, so just keep that in mind. And now I have the black ink, and I'm very carefully inking this plate up with the bird. Now this is, as I mentioned, this Chase, or the base, is magnetic, and it's got a strong magnet on it. So I want to put on enough ink that it has just enough. It has not too much, not too little, but just enough. And here I'm putting strawberry. This is from the new collection, and putting this on the Christmas greeting. I'm putting enough on, but I'm trying not to move those plates. They don't move easily because it's a strong magnet, but they do move. Now I click that base on there. You can see how it just kind of clicks. You don't hear it because I have muted that. But I ran it through the die cutting machine. Sorry you didn't see that, but that's all it is. Just ran it through once slowly. And here it is. You have this really deep impression. And now it's all ready to watercolor. This 100% cotton paper works very nicely for watercolor. Like I say, you can use, any of your other papers that you have, whether it be, white cardstock or any cardstock, but the 100% cotton has a little bit more give to it, and so it gives just this really nice, beautiful impression, and it's slightly thicker, and so that works out very nicely. But you can also use watercolor paper on this. This 100% cotton behaves similarly to watercolor paper. It does soak in maybe a little bit more, so you might have to apply a little bit more ink than you would expect. But this is a cardinal, and cardinals are traditionally red, so I'm painting in a traditional color, but I think it would be wonderful if it was a non-traditional, just to kind of change it up a bit. I love birds, so of course this is why I chose this. And I just think it looks magnificent on this branch with these pine cones. It has all the makings of something that's very festive for the holidays. And I'm just painting this with using Distress Inks as my watercolor. This is Barn Door for the darker red. For the little bit lighter, it's Abandoned Coral. I'm using a little bit of the Wild Honey around his eyes and a little on his breast. I'm going to also use a brown Tombow pen for his beak and his legs, and also on this branch. If you've seen my videos before, you know I love Tombow pens because they're water-based. I can just take a damp brush like this and I can blend out that color. I can get into these really small areas without making a mess, which is really important to me. And just a few of these Tombow pens really make a big difference. Now I'm painting the pine cone. I'm using Rusty Hinge. Again, these are all Distress Inks or Tombow pens. That's all I'm using. And I'm coloring the whole pine cone with the Rusty Hinge, and then going and doing the shading with Vintage Photo. I will go back through with my brown Tombow pen and add a little bit more shading. As I mentioned, I love the Tombow pens. You don't need very many for almost every project. If you had, a red, yellow, orange, a couple of greens, a couple of browns, and a black, that gets you through most anything. But they do come in a variety of colors, so boy, the sky's the limit. And I will put what I used in the supply list. There is a link down below that you can go right to everything that I've used. You can see that I'm putting my paints on an acrylic block. I often put them on my glass work surface, but I found that as I was moving my panel around, I was getting them into the ink. So I found putting it on this acrylic block where I can move it around works out great. And I do like that it is clear. It shows me the color more vividly and accurately. I will put that in the supply list as well in case that's something that you are curious about. And now, I've got these pine cones that I've painted with the rusty hinge, the vintage photo, and a brown Tombow pen. I'm now using a green Tombow pen for these pine needles. This is where these Tombow pens really shine, because you can get into these small areas and you still have a really crisp line, and you're not making it all blobby that I might be accused of doing. So it makes quick work of the project when you have the right tools. Now I'm using pine needle and a little bit of peeled paint, mixing them together. Going to color these holly, and then I'm going to go back with the pine needle and add in a little bit of darkness for the shading and a little bit more definition. It really does help to have the right tools. I know it feels like you just have you need a million things, but boy, there's some that I just couldn't live without, and this is one of them. But I'm just coloring these in, and you can see that these berries really came to life. And now I'm using a red Tombow pen, a yellow one, and going back in and filling in a little bit of the branch, so you can see it a little bit more. And I'm using the yellow Tombow pen just so that I can give a little more definition and different color to the berries. Not every berry is just the same color red, so you want to add a little bit of a difference. Now I finished the berries, and I'm going to go back with the Tombow pen and my brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit more crispness and definition in there. And if you're using a damp brush, and I use a smaller, quite small damp brush. Now my panel is all done, and boy, it dries really quickly. I have a card base, and the card base is, when folded, 5 by 6.25 inches. And then I have a piece of Papertrey ink pine feather bitty big paper, which is a pattern paper, and you can see that this piece has small plaid on one side and large plaid on the other. And it's the exact same size as the front of this card base, and I'm just adhering that on. That's 5 by 6.25. I just kind of wing this, put this down, but boy, the one thing about double stick tape is it sticks, and so you want to be sure it's hard to get off once it's on there. But I do like it better than glue. It seems to go on a little smoother. Now I'm putting on some more double stick tape on the card panel, and I'm going to adhere it to a red cardstock panel that's slightly bigger. It's just 1/8 of an inch bigger all the way around. So the size of it would be, let's see, that would be 4.5 by 5 3/4. Now I did put a piece of foam. I use this really thin foam. Again, it'll be in the card base. I like how thin it is, but I just want to pop it up a tiny bit. Sometimes glue is great, and this might be a really great place for it, because it's not going to get all wibbly. You're not going to see if it gets all wibbly wobbly because there's thickness there. But I did use double stick tape here, and I'm just going to position it, and there it is. It is all done. Now I cannot tell you, this Better Press system is fabulous. I know it probably seems like, oh gosh, do I need another tool? But this one, I'd have to say yes. You can make a card that has nothing on it but just the Better Press image on it, and it's fabulous. And or you can watercolor it like this, or I've used Copic markers, or you can use colored pencil. There's so many ways you can do it, but it is crisp and it is so beautiful, and but kind of a subtle elegance. So I'm in love with it, as you can tell. Now I'm just going to review really quickly. This is I use the Better Press Christmas Greetings press plate, the Paper Tray ink, Pine Feather Bitty Big paper, and some assorted distress inks, but all the detail is in the supply list below. You can also click on the link that will give you more detail and some close-ups. You can go there so you can check that all out. But I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to also see you next time. Bye.